working in the field of science and research, and one major activity there is for sure always publication. And if you see a new publication of yourself or by you and with colleagues, that always makes the day.
There's always things that are not yet explained, but otherwise we would be out of a job.
Welcome to TATuP Talks, a podcast by Journal for Technology Assessment in Theory and Practice.
Sophie Kuppler and Dirk Scheer, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me in our TATuP podcast. You hosted a special topic in TATuP on beyond short-termism, strategies and perspectives for the long-term governance of socio-technical change. Just a short introduction. Sophie, you are co-head of the research group Long-Term Governance, Conceptual and Empirical Development of Governance from a Long-Term Perspective at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. This is one of many activities which you're doing. And Dirk, also to take one, you're co-head in the same research group and lead of the project Kommunale Wärmewende als soziotechnisches System. Verständlich visionieren, fundiert analysieren, erfolgreich kommunizieren und motivieren. Together with Stefania Sardo, who also works at Institute for Technology Assessment and Systems Analysis in Karlsruhe, you hosted the special topic. And my first question is, why did you decide to host a special topic together?
Well, we are working together on this project, this long-term governance at ITAS, and we've been doing the conceptual work together, so it was kind of natural to decide to do this together, also the special issue.
And we also had the opportunity to get a kind of an internal project, what is called a focus project at ITAS. That is internal funding, where we had the possibility to explore, the kind of new research field of long-term governance. And that's why we are both hosting that project and thought, might be a good opportunity to do that special issue together.
When you think back, I mean, the issue has been published a while now, but when you think back, what did you like most in the whole process, and where did you see probably challenges you didn't expect?
What we love, or what I love most, is, first of all, work together within the internal ITAS group on long-term governance, and that is to share working, to share thoughts by content on the issue of long-term governance, and to explore how we can get that kind of new term, that kind of new research field into the research community by editing and submitting on the special issue. That is networking with colleagues in Germany over that topic, over that freshly new topic. The other thing is to work together with you guys from the editorial team, which is kind of like in-house grapevine networking possibilities. Although that was a really great experience. Well, on the other side, I mean, what we hated most, or what I hated most, is for sure, I mean, the kind of daily work that comes along with this kind of work. I mean, reviewing, doing editorial work, trying to look for reviewers and step over declines of reviewing and step things like that.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the work with you as the editorial team, and I found it really helpful to have like this schedule at the beginning and the clear deadlines and knowing what comes when, so I could make time in my daily schedule, knowing, okay, then all the abstracts will come in and then I need one day to do this and so on, and to know this well in advance so you're not surprised with those things, but you can really plan it. And I also agree that the greatest challenge is kind of dealing with the kind of very different reviews sometimes. One is, yes, go for publication, and the other one on the same paper is reject. And then how do you deal with this? It's always a bit of a challenge, but it's also good discussion. It was also good discussions in the group.
Yeah, I know that we are bothering all the special topic teams with deadlines and stuff like that, but it's unavoidable, I think. Some teams gave us the feedback that they were very surprised about some abstract they received during the call for abstracts. How about you? The people who submitted their abstracts, did you know all of them, or were there teams where you said, oh, wow, they're working on the topic as well?
Well, for me, I knew almost none of them, just a few. And I think because the debate is still quite young or it's this long-term governance debate. I mean, of course, it dates back quite a while, but it's not hasn't been very, very virulent, or how you'd say it. So it's not really a field where you know all the actors and all the people working on it. So it was also for us an opportunity to really get to know who identifies with this topic and who works on it, and who could we maybe also work together with in the future. And that was also one of the intentions why we did this special topic. So we were really happy that it worked out and that people handed in abstracts that we didn't know about before.
For me, there were some surprises and some no surprises. We were lucky to host a session on long-term governance on a conference in Amsterdam, quite during the process, where we attracted some speakers on that topic. And some of them also submitted an abstract to the journal, to the special issue or topic issue. And while others we knew by name, but didn't expect them to submit, and others we didn't know, so quite a mixture.
So now coming to the content, the title is Beyond Short-termism. I keep it short. What is your special interest in the topic, and can you probably explain in a nutshell what you intended with the special issue and highlight some points?
Yes, we're happy to do so. So we thought dealing with the issue of long governance comprises, first of all, there are some problems on the long run. Let's take a look at the energy transition, which is foreseen at least for half a century, 50 years, when we put the starting point at around the millennium. Nuclear waste disposal for sure is even beyond that temporalities. And the issue there is, how does policy making, how does the governance architecture deals with those kind of problems? So the thing is, and that is what we try to explore, when comes something as a problem, when comes something as a policy problem, and when comes something as a long-term policy problem, and what are responses of governance or policy making within the trade-off between short-term and the long-term. This is kind of abstract thinking at first glance, but I think it's from a research point of view, it's worth digging into that. And for sure, what we to do there is to learn from cases, to learn from case studies, and that was one of the major aims we had with a special issue, to learn from contributions which are mostly fixing or set up on cases. So we had mobility, we had nuclear waste disposal and other cases. And to learn from these cases when it comes to strategically succeed with these long-term governance or policy-making issues.
Sophie, do you want to add something?
Well, for me, I'm coming from the nuclear waste governance topic. So the question was always, the timeframes are just so long. It's 600 years waste should be retrievable from now on, and who will be there to deal with this? Who will know? Will there be people who are able to deal with this waste in 500 years from now, and so on? And of course, these are timeframes where you can't plan ahead, but there's always, we think there's a there's need to enable people in the future to be able to do these things, so that we don't act now in a way that hinders people in the future to deal with the problems that we're creating today. And that's what my interest is. And where I think it's great to also learn from other case studies and to see where there's approaches to dealing with such long-term problems and the consequences of technologies that we introduce today.
Thank you. And were you happy about the submissions? Did they cover the topic, in your opinion? Or what you expected from showing with the issue?
Well, I would say we deliberately left it quite open so that a broad range of people would feel interested in handing in abstracts. And it was great to have really the broad, like TA researchers, philosophers, people really working on case studies in single cities on a very specific case and local governance things. So it was the kind of different. Long-term governance is quite a complex structure if you think of it, because it starts at the local governance in one city, and then you have the regional governance, and then national and international, and over these different time frames, and you can't look at everything at once. So these single case studies looking at different aspects of long-term governance, that was what we hoped we would get. And for me, I was happy, of course. there's always things that are not yet explained, but otherwise we would be out of a job. So it's great.
Yeah, just can agree. I think the interdisciplinary approach of really reflected well the submissions, and that fitted best to the long-term governance content.
And we talked about things you didn't like that much before. How was it then when you saw the final issue published, either online or in paper version? How did it feel, and what did you do, or who did you show it to?
Well, I think working in the field of science and research, and one major activity there is for sure always publication. And if you see a new publication of yourself or by you and with colleagues, that always makes the day. That for sure. That always makes the day. That's what we're working for a little bit. And I just looked up the timeline of our task that we did for the TATuP. The first submission of our idea dates back to January 26, 23.
Wow.
And we saw the publication now in June 25 in the year 25. So that adds up to somehow around about 2.5 years. So that's long-term issues as well. So, and that fits well to our publication content. So yeah, as I said, it always makes the day if you see that.
Yeah, I agree. It's great to have things off the table, to have it published, and it just feels wonderful. And yeah, I'm using it every now and then when people, like colleagues, come from outside visiting. Then I give them one of the TATuPs, or we also send it to some people where we thought they might be interested. And I think it's a great way to also use it for network.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, it's still, for me, it's of course a lot of things work online, and I have to admit I also mostly read it online, but sometimes it's still good to have something in your hand which you can hand someone, like as a small gift or so, and kind of a sign of appreciation of exchanging things in a networking situation. And so it's great that it's available in print and for free. That's great for these situations.
Yeah, thanks to KIT and ITAS, it's free.
Yeah.
And it's a good feedback to hear that you appreciate the paper version, since we sometimes talk about online only. And we always come back to no, it's necessary to have the paper version. So thank you very much for taking the time today. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for the invitation.
We thank you for accompanying us through these years, these 2.5 years, and well, to succeed with publication of this, well, for us at least, very interesting and exciting publication. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.